it seems to me that sometimes insist on how to say on a protocol, on a therapeutic protocol, could be a bad decision for a therapist, because in that way you are treating the diagnosis, not the client, not the person. Yeah, you're not helping the person.
Exactly right. We don't treat diagnostic labels, we treat people. And every person we treat, whatever problems they still have skills, they still have resources, they still have things that we can use to help them get better, and not just feel better, but actually be better.
It's difficult with often it's difficult with a depressed person to help her to see her resources, skills, strengths, because those clients often say, "No, I'm not good. I can't do anything. I'm such a bad person. I'm too depressed." So, how can you manage that? How can you help clients to actually see their resource and their strengths?
Well, one of the things that we know from all of the research in cognitive neuroscience and affective neuroscience is that if there is such a thing as a typical depressed person, they have what's called a global cognitive style. The person tends to think in overgeneral terms. So that they'll take a past failure and say, "See, I failed, I can't do this." Or, they suffer a disappointment, they say, "So, this never works, why should I try?" Here again is the positive expectancy being a part of it. But more important, it's the therapist's job to help this person get from this global thinking into something much more specific. And so how you structure the treatment and how you train the client to go from general to specific. So let me give you an example. Clients walk in and they sit down and they say things like, "All I want is to be happy." And if you ask, "Well, what exactly do you mean by that? What do you mean by happy?" They look at you like, "What's wrong with you that you don't know what that means?" But then I'll say, "Okay, let's talk about something that you know how to do. Pick something you know how to do, anything that you feel confident you know how to do. Do you know how to get dressed? Do you know how to go grocery shopping? Do you know how to drive a car? Do you know how to take a shower?" And the person will say, "Well, of course I know how to do those things." I'll say, "Okay, fine. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to create a sequence in writing that somebody who doesn't know how to do this could follow your sequence and succeed. So I want you to create a sequence for how to take a shower so that anybody could follow it and successfully take a shower." They bring that back to me a week later and they'll have 3 steps. Get wet, soap up, rinse off. And I'll say, "Well, wait a second. How did this person find the shower? How did this person know how to turn the light on? How did this person know how to turn the water on? How did they know how to adjust the water temperature?" And I'll start bringing in all of the specifics of how there are many, many steps to taking a shower. Then I'll say, "Okay, now that we have taken all of these steps for taking a shower, now I want you to do the same thing for how to be happy." And that's the first time the person realizes they don't know what the steps are. And it's not that they don't deserve it, and it's not that they can't be, it's that they don't know what the steps are. So it's about training the person to start to think in terms of steps to follow. It's not about whether you believe it, it's not about whether you're in the mood for it, it's about, do you even know what to do? And what I find is that this has been one of the limitations of traditional psychotherapy. Traditional psychotherapy has focused on people's motivations, analyzing people's motives. Why does the person feel this way? What are the secondary gains What is the person afraid of? What is the person's unconscious need for self-sabotage or self-punishment? And analyzes all the motivations. And what I do instead is I focus on the abilities.
Yeah.
I believe the person wants to get better. Now the question is, what skills are they going to need in order to do that? And how do I make those skills learnable? And how do I help the person develop a willingness to experiment by working with these sequences to make good things happen? And that's how I get people connected to their resources. It isn't about your beliefs anymore. It's about what your abilities are. And I want to make sure the person has the actual abilities to do the things they want to do.